lovelies, it's the wave here. Are you new to drawing and art and you're trying to find your way and style? Or are you not that new but you're still trying to find your style? Regardless of where you are at, starting as a brand new artist or learning the ways of art, you might come to a point where you want to find your own flow and style. We'll be discussing all that comes to getting into digital art or even art in general while working on the updated version of Jay-Z's portrait. So you'll find yourself searching for references, getting inspiration from other artists, getting all the equipment checked, but then there's one more thing that feels like missing, and that is your style. Some people will never have an issue with it, but some will be continuing developing their styles over time, which is perfectly normal. I started drawing traditionally before going to uni and kept on drawing and practicing all the way. I rarely posted these drawings anywhere, but these were a couple of my old drawings I did back when I was using only paper and pencil. But after transitioning to digital art though, that changed everything for a while. Everything was new, different brushes, different patterns, all pretty but so different. It felt like learning to draw again on a digital tablet, and not gonna lie, the struggle was real. And to be fairly honest, practicing is the only way to understand everything better, and everyone will tell you that. Finding the brushes you're comfortable with, searching for the right graphical tablet that will fit your needs, and researching the best art software will definitely get you started for the digital art journey. And thankfully, there are so many options regarding all the above. There are several graphical tablets you can choose from, like Wacom, XP Pen, Huion, or even the iPad. So if you have an old iPad that you're not using anymore, you can definitely draw on that. And of course, so many art softwares that are out there, just like Procreate for the iPad, Clip Studio Paint, Photoshop, Krita, Paint Tool Sai if it's still available out there, and so many more. But regardless of the painting software you want to use, they are all there to help you create your beautiful canvas. And frankly, I'm still finding myself researching, getting into webinars, and learning constantly. Even though I haven't majored in arts, as some of you might know, I majored in architecture. A profession that I did carry on for a few years until I decided, after analyzing all the circumstances at the time, that it was not meant for me. And truly, honestly, I've always wanted to do arts. Since I was a kid, I wanted to major art, but unfortunately at that time there were a lot of misconceptions on the subject. But anyhow, I started recently, in the past few months, learning on Skillshare as well. And this is not a sponsored video or anything like that. But after using their platform for a while, I'd warmly recommend them. They've got so many classes you can attend and learn. And as I mentioned previously, the best way to learn and to get started into finding your own style is to practice. No matter if you're just sketching, doodling, painting, or just exercising lines on an empty canvas, you gotta get used with your gear, and as well to get into your own routine. Studying shapes, references, shadows, light and colors is highly important. Especially the light plays a huge role in creating an impactful piece. Also, it is important knowing where to add lights and shadows, and understanding where is the light coming from, and practicing on that is definitely a crucial first step. We'll take Jaycee's portrait as a study for our discussion. My style has changed a lot over the years, and I'm very sure it'll keep on changing more. And although I was slightly concerned to change things when I first started my journey in digital art, but later realizing that experimenting with different scenarios and brushes are nothing to be scared of, and I encourage you all to do so. And all this is in a direct relation with the techniques you're using when painting. Whenever I'm in a sketching mode, I'll want to keep the base sketch on a separate layer as a guide or reference. This layer will help you with keeping up with your idea or whatever you want to paint, but as well it is a good base start to improve on or adjust different objects or parts in your drawing. After applying the colors on the skin and hair, I'd go on with some base shadows that could be coming from various objects as the hair or under the eyebrows, under the nose, around the nose, and so on. On this phase, it's highly recommended to understand where the light is coming from and where the light goes and where the shadows go. For example, on JC's drawing, I established that the light will come from this point. So this means that some of the parts will be more enlightened and will have more light onto them than the shadowy parts. After establishing where goes where and what is my light source, I'll go with the second layer on the shadows to strengthen the darker parts, and then proceeding to the lighter zones, starting to work on those as well. Although we'll be adding a finishing layer on both lights and shadows later on. Next, I'll be focusing normally on the lips, trying to respect our light source that we just established, and adding the shadows to them and blending them accordingly. Then adding some highlights and glow to the eyes to try and animate them and make them more lively. Before wrapping up though, next up is the hair. I've been trying out several methods on shading the hair and noticed that adding darker color strands of hair that stand out on top of the color layer of the hair will impact the drawing a lot. But of course here as well we're gonna respect the light source as much as we can, so we'll be adding shadows in and the lightened parts. Thank you for watching so far. Tune in further for the final result and let me know in the comments if you'd like more in-depth videos on how to get started on digital art. And see you guys the next time.